Hello, you are. Hello, you're watching the news bulletin. I'm Nhung Pronoy, and now the headlines as usual. General Secretary meets Army Jew delegates. Vietnam always welcomes renewable energy projects. And later on, Croatia ready to promote overall ties with Vietnam. Party General Secretary Vũ Trọng met a delegation from the Vietnam People's Army's Youth Union on October the 11th. Welcoming the outstanding Army delegates who just attended the 10th Congress of the Ho Chi Minh Communist Youth Union, the Party General Secretary praised the achievements that the Army Youth has attained over the years. The party chief asked the Army Youth to be always ready to fight against any enemy, proactive in learning, training, and scientific research to serve the military, and at the same time to be ardent in labor, production, and business. Army Youth must be the core force, taking the lead in protecting the ideological foundation of the party, successfully performing the tasks of the army, especially in difficult places, Trọng stressed. The party leader also expressed his belief that the Army Youth will continue to promote the tradition of the heroic Vietnam People's Army to be worthy of the trust and expectations of the party, state, the Ministry of National Defense, and the people. We have news coming up next. Let's take a look. On October the 11th, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính hosted Juan Ignacio Rubiolo, Executive Vice President of the Applied Energy Services, an energy corporation from the U.S. Vietnam always runs our red carpet for renewable energy and wind project from the Applied Energy Services and other prestigious partners in Vietnam, Chính told the guest. He stressed that the Vietnamese government always accompanies and gives timely support to the corporation so that its projects will be carried out smoothly, successfully, and in line with the regulations in the host country. He suggested the firm and competent partners provide further support for Vietnam in the energy transition process, ensuring sustainability and inclusive benefits for all. For his part, Juan Ignacio Rubiolo affirmed that the corporation will launch long-term investment in Vietnam and wish to have the nation realize its net zero emission target by 2050. Croatia always supports to put ties with Vietnam in various areas and serves as a great way for Vietnam to enhance cooperation with the European Union. Croatian President Zoran Milanovic told visiting Vietnamese Vice President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân during a meeting on October the 10th.
Croatian President Milanovic said Croatia supports the EU's early removal of yellow card warning of Vietnamese aquatic products. He added the European nation is ready to share its experience in sustainable aquaculture with Vietnam. Vice President Xuân, who is on official visit to Croatia from October 9 to 11th, said Vietnam always treasures and wishes to boost bilateral traditional friendship and all-around cooperation, which was founded decades ago. On the same day, Xuân met with Deputy Speaker of the Croatian Parliament Ante Sanader. Both officials agreed to consider the early signing of a cooperation agreement between the parliaments and the possibility of establishing the friendship parliamentarian groups. Earlier on October the 10th, Xuân visited the University of Zagreb, suggesting Vietnam and Croatia soon sign an agreement on educational cooperation, implement joint projects on scientific research and innovation, and establish a direct student exchange mechanism between the University of Zagreb and Vietnamese universities. On October the 9th, she had a meeting with staff at the Vietnamese embassy in Hungary and Croatia and representatives of the Vietnamese community there.
Vietnam appealed to countries to augment international efforts in disarmament and non-proliferation during a general debate at the UN General Assembly's Disarmament and International Security Committee on October the 10th.
At the debate, which attracted nearly 140 member states and observers, most participants shared the view that international security is facing many unpredictable challenges. Ambassador Đặng Hoàng Giang, permanent representative of Vietnam to the UN, held that the current international security environment is the most complex in decades, which may adversely affect common efforts by the international community. In that context, countries should strengthen international efforts in disarmament and non-proliferation to protect the hard-earned achievements, he said, calling for the joint promotion of a framework for effectively responding to new challenges and areas like cybersecurity and outer space issues. Giang also reaffirmed Vietnam's readiness to actively engage in the committee's common works and support for efforts for the sake of a world of peace, stability, and development.
Vietnam International Digital Week 2022 opened in Hanoi on October 11th with the theme Global Partnership for Sustainable Digital Future. The opening ceremony saw the participation of more than 350 delegates from ASEAN member countries and their dialogue partners, among others. In his opening remarks, Vietnamese Minister of Information and Communications Nguyễn Mạnh Hùng said the event, the first to be scored in Vietnam, is expected to be held annually for ASEAN countries. Following the opening ceremony, representatives from policy-making agencies of the countries shared experience in digital development at the plenary session. The Vietnam International Digital Week, to run until October the 14th, will feature a series of activities, including the ASEAN Conference on 5G and other conferences on digital transformation in industry and smart production. Switzerland newspaper Anxiefi recently ran an article affirming that Vietnam has become one of the emerging economies which hold an important role in Asia.
The article titled Vietnam and the New Asian Tigers wrote that the world is seeing the emergence of Vietnam and Indonesia as rising economic powers in Asia. It cited the World Bank's August projections as saying that Vietnam's GDP growth may hit 7.5% in 2022 and inflation curbed at 3.8% this year. From January to July, foreign direct investment brought into the countries were estimated at $11.57 billion, up 10.2% year-on-year, the highest amount in the last 5 years. According to Fitch, Vietnam ranks 5th out of the 35 Asian markets in terms of economic openness. The Swiss newspaper also appreciated Vietnam's candidacy to the UN Human Rights Council after successfully assuming the role of a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council in 2020 to 2021.
Trade between Vietnam and Australia rose 33.4% to nearly $12 billion in the first 9 months of this year, after reaching a record in 2021.
According to Vietnam Trade Office in Australia, in the period, export revenues generated in the Australian market hit $4.2 billion, up nearly 34%, while Vietnam's total exports increased 17.2%. Notably, strong growth was seen in the export of many products, including footwear, garments, seafood, steel, food and furniture, and coffee. In the first 8 months of this year, Vietnam was the 10th biggest trade partner of Australia, while Australia is the 7th greatest of Vietnam. The Vietnam Trade Office in Australia said that, along with implementing the government's policies on economic cooperation with Australia, the office had given timely support to domestic firms during the recent tough time of COVID-19.
An economic seminar entitled Capturing Business Opportunities in Vietnam, Energy Transition and Digital Transformation was held recently in Paris, attracting more than 80 enterprises and investors from France and Vietnam.
Addressing the gathering, Vietnamese ambassador to France Đinh Toàn Thắng said Vietnam prioritizes attracting projects in the fields of high technology, innovation, research and development, and has created the necessary conditions for Vietnamese enterprises to promote the digital economy, the green economy, and the circular economy. Participants expressed an interest in Vietnam's priorities investment fields, preferential tax rates at industrial parks, investment incentives, and renewable energies development policies, among others.
Vietnam is an attractive country. Schneider Electric has been present in the country for more than 25 years, and we will continue to invest in the market. The seminar aims to share information and answer questions from businesses. Our representative offices in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City work closely with local governments, so we can connect and encourage French companies to invest in Vietnam.
In return, Vietnamese businesses pin high hopes on cooperative opportunities between the two countries.
Established in 2008, FPT Software Europe has worked with major industrial groups in France, and we hope to bring Vietnamese wisdom not only to France but to all places in need of innovation.
Following the seminar, Ambassador Thắng held a working session with Mr. Luc Raymond, Vice President of the Schneider Electric, during which the latter affirmed the group's commitment to expanding its business and investment activities in Vietnam.
The People's Committee of Điện Biên Đông District, the northern province of Điện Biên, has worked with the Provincial Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism to hold a ceremony recognizing a local New Rice Festival as a national intangible cultural heritage in Vietnam.
The New Rice Festival in the northern mountainous province of Điện Biên is an occasion for local people to offer the ancestors' traditional dishes, invite them to taste rice from freshly harvested crops, and pray for good health and pumper harvest. The Sinh Mun ethnic minority group considers the New Rice Festival their traditional New Year celebration, and it marks the end of past activities and the beginning of a new cycle of life. Grandparents and parents take the occasion to teach their children to appreciate work and the tradition of ancestors worshipping for the formation of close-knit family clans.
In response to National Digital Transformation Day, the General Department of Tourism at the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism coordinated with the Văn Miếu Quốc Tử Giám Culture and Science Center to issue smart travel cards for tourists.
The issuance of smart tourism cards is a breakthrough in management through digitalization and towards environmental protection by eliminating paper tickets. The cards are as a result of the Vietnamese e-cards program hosted by the Ministries of Industries and Trade. The multifunctional cards provide individuals information about travel records, health, banking, trade, education, and transportation. Cardholders are also allowed to conduct one-touch cashless payments.
Artist Nguyễn Xuân Tiệp has launched an exhibition of 63 horse paintings in colored pencils, which has impressed visitors.
The exhibition displays 63 artworks debuted from 2014 to 2022 with colors pencils on paper, a drawing style he has studied for a long period of time. Horse images in literature and movies inspired his paintings, he said, which is where he first saw their humanity. He then started to paint strange and magical horses.
I think painter Nguyễn Xuân Tiệp has taken a right step towards advancing his art. He looked at nature from the perspectives of a horse and showed his humanity in his paintings.
Xuân Tiệp was born in 1956 in Hanoi. He graduated from the Vietnam Arts University in 1980 and has been a member of the Vietnam Fine Arts Association. He's among a few talented artists representing Vietnam's plastic arts in World Art Museum since the 1990s.
The audience will be surprised that painter Xuân Tiệp uses colored pencils, which are generally for documenting and sketching out, to create his paintings.
The exhibition is being held at the art space in the Vietnam Arts University, 42 Yết Kieu.